Hi everyone, I'm Ben, co-founder and CEO of Run an Empire. So what Run an Empire is a multiplayer location game for runners. So what it means is when you go for a run, you can capture the territory using the GPS in the real world around you. Now, why is that interesting? Well, there's conservatively 150 million recreational runners worldwide. The US and Europe alone have 150 million. So that means it's a huge market and it's growing. It's one of the fastest growing sports in the world. And also, running is fantastic. It's accessible, it's flexible, it's effective. People who run become addicted. It's very habit forming. But there are barriers. It's not quite as straightforward as that. And the main one is motivation. Every single runner will tell you that getting back out there, getting the shoes back on, can be a challenge, whether it's someone running and getting into it for the first time, or someone who's been running for years or training for a marathon. And we think that's interesting because, partly since the smartphones come about, actually fitness trackers haven't changed that much. You know, in nearly 10 years, really, we've had maybe points for calories burned or a badge for doing some extra miles, but nothing's really shaken up that space. At the same time, as you see, it's a huge market. There have been some incredible exits in the past few years. Adidas's purchase of Runtastic was the largest exit in the history of Austria. But what has happened at the same time with the smartphone is that gaming has come on leaps and bounds. It's an entirely new form of gaming. Free-to-play gaming is incredible. It does things that a lot of other sectors can learn a lot from. It's very addictive. People come back time and time again. It's highly social. So people really do come into those games and form bonds. And more than anything, it's by far the most profitable sector of the App Store. So we think when you look at those sectors and the capabilities of the devices, there's a huge untapped market for all kinds of located experience and particularly driving people towards a fitter, healthier routine. So how does Run an Empire work? We've created an engine that divides the world into hexagons about 60 meters across. They tile the globe, and these are discrete, individually identifiable chunks of land that someone can own. We can do located marketing on them. We can tell you who the owner of them is. And as people move through them, they capture them. So whoever's most recently visited one is the owner of it. So today I went for a quick walk around the building. I encircled all the hexes that were kind of in that space. And I'm now owner of some, not all of them. Some are more highly contested. And as things go on, we bring in a lot more of those mechanics of the free-to-play game space. And maybe I can just show you, I think, now, a short film about Run an Empire. Hopefully the sound's up. So as you can see, it's massively social, but it's also collaborative, it's competitive. We pander to, or we play to, the needs of a lot of different types of runners. Those who want to run with a friend, those that want to compete against a friend, those that are just looking to explore or go on an adventure, find an interesting part of town. And in terms of the business model, it's a classic free-to-play model that you've seen from things like Pokemon Go in the location space or Clash of Clans. We monetize through microtransactions in the app, People pay to upgrade their avatar, pay to be able to actually run more regularly, to get more data, and they pay to also get access to new features. Our secondary is integrated marketing, so we can work with brands like Adidas and Nike to do new releases of, say, a pair of trainers, or we can work with health insurers to drive usage of their platforms as well. And finally, we use strategic partnerships to drive our growth as well, so we can again work with those partners in territories for big uptake as we launch and roll out. Very quickly about the team, Sam and I have been working together for about 6 years, making games and interactive apps for clients like Microsoft and Google, very much in the playful and game space. That's our expertise, as you maybe can tell, maybe more from the gaming background than fitness. And we're joined by a leading app developer in Peter Worth as our CTO, who had the #1 paid app in the US App Store last year, and a bunch of other advisors, including in a recent round, Scott Kendall, who is the sort of super angel that's led our most recent round and has previously worked on location technologies, including with Foursquare. So very quickly, we soft launched in the UK at the back end of last year. We now have about 25,000 users, 75,000 runs, and really just great response from the press and from our users. So next steps for us are global rollout. We're coming to Android, just on iOS at the moment, coming to Android shortly. So finally, I'll just leave you with where we're at. As I say, we've just raised a $500,000 round. We're really interested in meeting anyone who is interested in following on in that round. It's been as a convertible note, so we're looking to raise a further $1 million for global rollout. And also anyone interested just in talking about running or partnerships as well. So yeah, I'll be at the back. Grab me, I'm around for a coffee as well. Thank you.